Hello, everyone. Let's get into this. How are y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. We're going to get straight into it. Last week, we started off how to write the literature review. Today, we're going to talk about getting to the writing. If you are new to me, I am Dr. Marvette Lacy. I work with doc students to finish their dissertations in 12 months or less by following a very simple writing process. And I am going to teach you that writing process right now. Hopefully, my internet didn't skip too much. Okay, I'm just gonna do the intro over because it looks like it skipped over. So, welcome, y'all. Last week we started with starting the literature review. This week we're going to start with writing the literature review. And I am going to teach you a simple routine. I work with doc students. My name is Dr. Marvette Lacy, and I help you write your dissertation in 12 months or less so you can finish it, graduate, and be a whole doctor. I'm going to show you the same routine that I teach my clients to follow. And I am going to recommend highly that you start this literature review process not by reading, but by writing. Reading is how you're going to get yourself into overwhelm and confusion and doubt. When you start with writing, you have a clear plan of action and you know what to do. If you want further clarification, information about this, come and join us in the 30-day literature review challenge. And I give you a step-by-step process for finishing a complete draft of your literature review in 30 days or less. So let's get into it. I am going to share my screen. Let's do this. Because the Mercury retrograde is a starting. Okay, so did that work? I'm just gonna start talking and we're gonna cross fingers and hope that that is working out. All right. If you want to join us for the literature review challenge, you just go to qualscholars.com literature review workshop and you can join us. This challenge is going to tell you all about the common roadblocks to writing, and it's not what you think. Give you the best ways of starting and writing a literature review, give you tips and accountability for staying organized with your literature, your notes, your citations, giving you a process to read very quickly and put words on a page. And all of that will come together for you to write a 20-page draft of your qualitative literature review. Now, are there quant and mixed methods people in challenge? Absolutely, because this is more about who you need to become in order to write. But I just want to do my due diligence because I'm a qualitative researcher. Okay. Y'all be trying to ask me questions that I don't know the answers to. But you get a daily assignment every day, a short video. I come on and I welcome. Today is day 2. So we're just getting started. So you can still join us. Even if you're watching this after March of 2024, you could still sign up because the recordings are available and you just walk through the process as if you were doing it live with us. Try to do it live once every 3 months. So listen, join. You have lifetime access to it and you can always join us when we're doing a live thing. So I show up every day, I give a video, tell you what to do, and then you take 60 minutes to complete that assignment. I'm really challenging people to do 60 minutes or less because you need to learn that this is not about being perfect. This is about taking tiny steps that will ultimately accumulate and become a completed literature review. And then I ask people to come back, report your progress, and we celebrate you. And so that's what we got started doing yesterday. And I want you to join us. So 30-day literature review. Hello, person who's here. Tell me how you doing. Okay, so why is writing so hard? Before I get into how you do the writing, it's important for us to have this conversation. Why is writing so hard? I just want you to think about that right now. And if you're comfortable, put it in the chat. Why is writing so hard for you? Don't think about everyone else, but why is writing so challenging for you? I'm going to give you some reasons. Here's what I believe I know in my soul: dissertations, literature reviews, manuscripts, one word, one sentence, one paragraph, one page, one chapter at a time. And your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. The challenge here is that you think that you are some superhuman who needs to and who should focus on more than one thing at a time. But I'm just here to tell you that the way the brain is set up, you are truly only focusing on one thing at a time. Now, you might be someone who can switch from task to task quickly, but you're still only focusing on one thing at a time. And so my thinking was, if that's how the brain works, why do we keep trying to do something opposite in the way that it was originally designed to work? That includes writing. Why would you go against the way your natural makeup, the way your natural brain works? Why would you go against it? Instead, if you, I know I've seen hundreds of clients, I have my own processes, I still write a fair amount every month. And I know this to be true. When I slow down and I just let the writing process be one thing at a time, I write faster, I produce more pages, and I like crush my goals faster because I allow this process to be one thing at a time. You're going to be annoyed with me because I'm going to say this the entire thing. And if you ever work with me, if you ever ask me a question, I'm going to tell you focus on one thing at a time. I was just like y'all when I was working on my dissertation, like before that. So I graduated from the University of Georgia in the College Student Affairs Administration program. And before my dissertation, I would just show up and just try to do what y'all do. I would try to read a bunch of stuff and then I would try to take all the things that I read and put it down on the page. I would spend hours trying to translate my notes, my highlights, my stickers from the literature and try to put it into a document. And that would cause me so much overwhelm. The ADHD was like, girl, we cannot do this no more. And I would just feel like I had writer's block. I would feel like I didn't know enough. I would feel like everyone must be so much further ahead than I am because it just seems like it's so easy for them to put words on a page, but I can't put words on a page. And it's just a lot of conversation happening. I would spend hours. Okay, Google. If I had AI as a doc student, that would have been disastrous. That's what I was trying to say. Because I just would have been asking AI over and over, what's this? What's this word? How do you do this? How do you do that? And you can easily go into a circle by doing that. But it wasn't until Thanksgiving 2016, I think it was slightly after that, when my chair was like, hey, girl, you got 2 months. You got 2 months to go from submitting IRB to giving me a completed dissertation. I don't know what you're going to do, but you better do it. It wasn't until she gave me that very clear direction that I was like, "Oh, girl, you don't have time to do what you were doing. You gotta come up with a new way." And that is how the scholar writing routine was born. So I'm telling you this because I don't want you to think that I'm like, oh, I was like this perfectly organized student who did everything the right way. And now I'm telling you something that's unrealistic. No, I'm telling you, I am you. I was you. And I figured out a way to work with my natural way I approach the writing process. And I used it to finish that dissertation in 2 months, and I help other students finish their dissertations. Okay, so why is writing so hard? Well, you're overwhelmed by all the moving parts, especially when it comes to a literature review, right? We got the outline of the literature, we got different buckets, we got how much do you read? Do you read everything about the literature? And then how do you translate what you've read into the notes? It's just so much. And you could just go to your methods chapter, you go to your intro chapter. You can keep switching back and forth to different parts. And so that is overwhelming, which then leads to confusion because you're like, there's so many places and ways I could start this process or how I can organize it or how I can keep going, but I don't know what the right way is. And so then you become very uncertain about starting. You become uncertain about should you put words on the page, what words to put on the page when you start to put word, like you know how you type one sentence, then something in your brain says, I don't know if your chair, like my chair is gonna like it. I don't know if my committee is going to agree with this. I know so and so is gonna have a problem with this. So then you become very doubtful. And if you're not careful, that doubt turns into desperation. You're like, I just need to finish this because this is so overwhelming. It's so heavy. It feels like I'm doing all of these things, right? Tell me if you relate to this. Let me know in the comments or in the chat if you're here with me live. Just put a yes in the chat or the comments. It feels like you're showing up. You're doing all the things that people told you to do. You're sitting in front of the computer for hours and hours and hours, but it doesn't feel like it's working. It feels like you read hundreds of pages only to write 1 or 2 sentences, and that is frustrating, and if you could just get done with this part, you know that you will be able to whatever's coming next, so whether you're gonna be faculty, whether you're gonna be in the admin role, like, whatever comes after this doctoral process, you're gonna be able to handle it with ease, but you just need to get through the dissertation, and so that creates this level of desperation. I understand. The the main thing here that I wanna bring your attention to These are all emotions. I'm pointing this out because students will come to me and I will say, well, we need to talk about your emotions, not because I'm trying to be your therapist, not because I'm trying to go in your childhood, not because of anything about your past. I am talking about the emotions associated with writing. Students will be like, no, 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 I just need some deadlines and an action plan. And I'm like, yeah, but the reason why writing is so hard is because you feel overwhelmed, you feel confused, you feel uncertain, you feel doubtful, you feel desperate. These are not actions. These are not deadlines. These are emotions. And so if we're not talking about this, it doesn't matter how many deadlines, how many action plans, how many literature review matrices, how many times you meet with your chair. It won't matter until you give attention, the rightful attention your emotions need. So here's a question. How often throughout a day do you sit with your emotions and your thoughts? Like how often are you walking or you're sitting there without the distractions of your phone, without TV, without other people? How often do you just sit in your emotions and you just hear the thoughts in your head? The reason why writing is hard is because most likely that is the only time that you are sitting down and you're forced to be with your emotions and your thoughts. Because think about this, when you go to sit down to write in front of your computer, in theory, there are no other distractions. You may have music on, you may be writing with other people, but writing forces you to open up a page and put words on a page. That has to come from you. That can't come from anyone else or any other words unless you're copying and plagiarizing. That's a whole different story. But everything that you're writing is coming from you. And if you have been going and going and going all day long, you have been talking to this person, driving over here, doing this meeting, working, 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 called all of this, all of these distractions. And then at the end of the day, you think you're going to sit down and all of those distractions are going to go away and you're going to be able to put words on a page. No, you don't have any practice sitting still because the moment you sit still, that voice is like your anxiety and that critical voice is like, finally, finally, let me tell you all the things. Let me tell you how I'm worried about money. Let me tell you how I'm worried about work. Let me tell you about worried about the kids, worried about the partner. All right, all your worries, your anxieties, all the things that you did wrong start to circulate in your head. And if your brain is real sophisticated because it knows you, it's like, oh, I'm not going to tell you all the things you did wrong for today. I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with your writing. I'm going to tell you why your topic is stupid. I'm going to tell you why the words you just put down ain't going to make sense. I'm going to tell you why you're never going to pass. I'm going to bring up all those past conversations with your chair when they told you you couldn't write or you need to. All of that is going to swirl. And if you don't have practice sitting with those and giving it a place to go, writing becomes challenging. The actions of writing are simple. You just legit sit down, put your fingers to the keyboard, and you move your fingers up and down across letters, and letters get on a page. That is writing. Everything else outside of that is happening up here and in your body. You need a practice. You need a process that will help you to show up and put words on a page while your emotions and your thoughts are doing what they do. This is why the scholar writing routine is so helpful. I'm not trying to give you something to give you more steps. I am trying to help you work with that inner critic and that inner anxiety voice that is telling you all the reason. The process will give you tangible steps to follow so that you can use whatever energy is left over to listen to that critical voice of anxiety or not listen or journal. Journal, y'all, journal is so powerful. So powerful. Okay, let's move on. I think you got it. So, before we get into the scholar writing routine, I want to talk about the importance of writing shitty paragraphs. If you've been around me, you've heard me say, write a shitty paragraph. One of the rules that I have for clients is to write a shitty paragraph every day. You're going to need this for this next part because the writing routine hinges on you writing shitty paragraphs, not perfect paragraphs, not polished paragraphs. I'm talking about writing the worst paragraphs you've ever written in your life. That is going to be the key to the end of this literature review. A shitty paragraph is just a collection of sentences that you decided go together and you lump them together. A paragraph really, truly only requires four sentences. Okay. I'm not about to argue with nobody. It's four sentences. Okay. And a sentence is just random words you put together. You capitalize the first word, you put a punctuation at the end of the last word, and you call it a sentence. You do four of those, you put them together. The reason why I'm going in such painful detail about this is because I say do this and then students hear something else. I don't know what students hear because I feel like I'm being very clear about what I mean. You're going to write the worst paragraph you've ever written. Say it back with me. I am going to write the worst paragraph I've ever written because I'm going to trust myself that I can come back and edit said shitty paragraph. But if there are no words on the page, guess what I can't do? Edit. Stop trying to do all of this together. And I think I have another slide, but stop trying to read and write and edit all at the same time. That is not you working smarter. That is you working against yourself. If you still want to be here next month, next year, 10 years from now, still talking about this literature review, keep doing it the way you're doing it. Okay, friend? Or you could try it my way and take it one step at a time. Going back to the beginning, take it one thing at a time. And the one step I want you to start with is writing a shitty paragraph. A shitty paragraph does not require you to read anything. It doesn't require a citation. It doesn't require APA formatting. A shitty paragraph is just a collection of sentences that you decided to group together. That's it. That's all. Okay. Keep it simple. Your brain, remember your inner anxiety and inner critic, is going to want to make this complicated because it's going to tell you all the reasons why the words you put on a page won't matter. But that is why you're going to tell those voices, hey, I'm not going to turn this in yet. I'm just writing a shitty paragraph. I'm just doing step one. That's it. I'm not at the end. I'm only going to do step one. The more that you practice you have telling yourself that, the more those voices will go sit down somewhere. They will quiet down because they will start to understand, oh, we're not going to turn this in like this. We're just doing step one. Okay. Your brain is going to tell you, well, if you really was dedicated, if you really cared about your literature review, if you really was about this life, you would take more time to write. Those are lies. Listen to me. Is this mic on? That is a lie. It's a lie. You are going to take time. You are going to take care. But we need to do this one step at a time. We're not wordsmithing. We're not looking up anything. Okay. You're not going to save more time if you edit now. You're going to spend more time. You're going to waste more time if you try to edit and read now. Your brain drama is not true. Okay, I think y'all got it because you like, girl, stop yelling at us. Here's the thing. The reason why I'm spending so much time here is because I know, because y'all, I've been doing this for a long time. And the students who think they know best, the students who choose to ignore this routine, you know what they do? They start creating aggressive goals because maybe this sounds like you. They start being like, I'm going to finish my proposal in 30 days. Or I'm going to do a 100-day writing challenge where I write for 5 hours every day. You set yourself up to burn out. You set yourself up to be completely overwhelmed because you probably only get 2 days into that 100-day challenge and then you back to talking shit to yourself. What if you just focused on writing one paragraph a day? If you don't even take the rest of this routine, if you only focused on writing one paragraph a day for 2 weeks, do you know you would have a good, I put 2 pages here. That's me being very conservative. If you just showed up and wrote a shitty paragraph a day for 14 days, friend, you're gonna have a minimum 2 pages, but you're gonna have more like 5 to 7 pages. Think about that. Think about how much further along you would be if you just wrote a shitty paragraph every day. Now you might be like, but I can't write if I haven't read. That's a lie too. It's a lie. You want to know how I know you've been reading? You didn't just come off the street and started writing a dissertation. You had courses, had other projects. You have been reading about your topic. What if you just trust yourself for 2 seconds and put words on a page and just show yourself how much knowledge is hiding in your head? And this is the final thing I'll say about this. Usually, when I'm asking students directly about their topic and about their literature review, when I'm just talking to them, because I'll say, like, we're at brunch, we got mimosas. This ain't fancy. When I asked them to just talk to me like a regular schmegular person, do you know they can answer every single question? I know that if I was to ask you about your topic, you would be able to answer every single question. And what does that mean? That means this is not a reading problem. This is a I don't trust myself to put words on a page problem, which is why I'm giving you a routine. So you can just follow the routine. And the more that you follow it, the more you get into the habit of following the routine, the trust will come, the motivation will come, the clarity will come, friend. But you got to trust the process. Right. You don't have to be burnt out. You don't have to be overwhelmed to write this literature review or the dissertation. You get to just take it one step at a time. All right, let's get into the scholar writing routine. We all been reading. Write when you're writing, edit when you're editing. They don't like each other. They're frenemies. Think about them like that. Reading, writing, and editing are frenemies. They don't want to share your time and attention. So just focus on doing one thing at a time. All right. Step number one of this writing routine, what is it that you're going to be working on? So this is a good time to review your weekly plan. If you've been around here, you know we every Sunday we make a weekly plan that we know exactly what we're going to do. If you're in the 30-day literature review challenge, this is your daily assignment. I'm going to come on and give you a video and say, hey, this is what today's assignment. Like for instance, today's assignment is where you right? Start to finish, this is what I'm going to do during this writing session. A lot of your problems would be solved by doing this. Most of you think you're being clear about what it is that you're working on, but then you say things like, oh, today I'm going to work on my theoretical framework. Today I'm going to work on this section. What does that mean? What does that mean to work on a thing? How do you know where to start? How do you know when it's over, like when you've hit completion? You don't. And so then you go sit down and you work for 4, 6, 8 hours because you're working on your theoretical framework and you don't have a stopping point. So then, although you worked for 6 to 8 hours, you're going to leave that writing session being like, I didn't even get anything done. I don't even know what I used my time for. And it's because you didn't identify a clear start and end point. So that was for somebody. So make sure you start off this process with knowing what is it I'm going to write today. Once you have that, you get your phone. Okay. You put it on do not disturb, and then you set a timer for 25 minutes. You just go to the little clock thing, set a timer for 25 minutes, put it over there somewhere. And then you're going to put your fingers on the keyboard and you're not going to stop typing until that timer stops. You're going to type whatever your brain tells you. So if your brain is like, this is stupid, this will never work, you know what you're going to type? This is stupid, this will never work. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to be writing about my theoretical framework. Well, what is my theoretical framework? My theoretical framework is Black feminist thought. You legit type the stream of consciousness. Even if that stream of consciousness is like, I need to go pick up some bread today. I wonder what my mama is doing. I wonder what Abbott Elementary is going to be about. I don't care what your brain says. You put it on the page and you trust the process. Your brain is going to want to tell you, well, that doesn't matter, or I can't say it that way, or I need to look up this word. No, you don't. Put it on the page. Put it on the page. I don't care how wrong it feels. Put it on the page. And you don't stop putting things on a page until the timer goes off. Y'all, listen, because people don't believe me. And then you know what happens after weeks of being frustrated and trying to do it your way? You're going to come back to me. You're going to be like, Dr. Lacey, did you know that process you said worked? And I'll be like, I know, friend, I know. So I'm being a little tongue in cheek, but my point is follow the process. Once the timer goes off, then you're going to do the spelling and grammar check. So if you're using Grammarly, you're using Microsoft Word, whatever you're using, just hit spelling and grammar. Take a break. I need a break after spelling and grammar because it's so tedious. I need a break. Come back and then just make sure you actually have paragraphs. And we're talking about shitty paragraphs. Your only job is to make sure that as you're structuring your paragraph, this is where you will remove things like you talk about your grocery list or you were talking about Abbott Elementary. This is when you start to create paragraphs. We're just removing the stuff that no longer like works. It wasn't even about the topic I'm writing. I'm just removing the things and I'm leaving the core information. I'm still not going to read anything. I'm still not going to go look up anything. I'm not going to even do any wordsmithing. My only job is to have clear paragraphs or something that looks like paragraphs that focuses on the topic I said I was going to write about. And that is it. You are done for that writing session. And next week I'm going to talk to you about editing, but for everyone else, you're done. That's it. So this should really take you about 60 minutes if you're doing this the way I have explained it to you. Okay, so then this week's assignment, I want you to practice the scholar writing routine. For your next writing session, I want you to practice this. If you are inside of the challenge, here's an overview of what the next 10 days are going to look like for you. Yesterday, we started with identifying your topic. For those of you who are not in the challenge, you go watch last week's video live stream where I talk about what makes a topic. If you're in the challenge, you should have already posted in the circle community about your topic. Today, we are going to free write about your problem section. You should see a video. I'm about to do it right after this, where I'm going to explain to you about the problem section. I'm going to give you some writing prompts, and your job is to respond to the writing prompts today following the scholar writing routine. But I'm going to explain more. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about editing this shitty draft. Um, yeah, Wednesday, we're going to talk about finding the literature to support your shitty draft. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you're going to review your first set of literature. Sunday, we're going to pause to give you some time to catch up. You're going to prepare for the writing process. Monday, you're going to update the draft that you're writing today. And then Tuesday, you're going to edit it, but I'm going to show you a different way to edit than I am tomorrow. And then by where am I at? Tuesday? That doesn't make sense. That makes sense. Tuesday or Wednesday, because I can't remember what day I'm on. You're going to submit the first 5 to 10 pages of your literature review. It's going to be hard for you to see how what I'm telling you to do today is going to lead to 10 pages. But what did I say? If you trust the process and you take it one step at a time, you will have your first 10 pages in less than 2 weeks to turn into somebody to review. This is how we're going to write an entire literature review. And this is just the first 11 days, friend. We still got another, what is math? We will still have another 19 days for the rest of it. It's going to be magical. If you want to join us, you can go to qualscholars.com/literature review workshop, and you can sign up and still join right along with us and see yesterday's video. Remember, I'm going to give you a short video assignment. I walk you through in more detail about exactly what to do and how to complete it, and you have us to support you. So that is all for today's live, y'all. Any questions that you have about this? And I don't know if my video is coming back up, but we're here, y'all. But let me know if you have any questions, if there's any way that I can help you as you're writing your literature review. Again, I encourage you to come join us in the challenge. I understand that it may not be right for everyone, but you'll always have access to it. So even if you're busy right now, you can come back to it later and work through it. I've had many students do that. Okay, I'm going to go and talk to the people in the challenge, and I will be back here next Monday to talk about the editing process. See y'all later.